Hi manifestors, and welcome to your Manifesting Destiny Moon Update. My name is Meera Allen, and for those of you that have subscribed, thank you so much. And for those of you that have just joined recently and just seeing this, I just generally do a new moon video, a full moon video, and little manifesting videos in between to help you live the life that you want. Anyway, let's get into these times for this full moon in Libra that we're coming up to on the 5th or the 6th of April, depending on where you are in the planet. So for London, it's the 6th of April at 5:34 in the morning. Sydney, Australia, it's at 6th of April, 2:34 in the afternoon. For LA, it's the 5th of April at 9:34 at night. And for New York, it's the 6th of April, wee hours of the morning at 34 minutes past midnight. So if you're not in those areas, Google where's your full moon for your country and your city and your time. So this is a special one because for me personally, I'm a Libra. So the full moon in Libra is pretty beautiful and important for my particular star sign. But for those of you that have a rising in Libra, for those of you that have sun in Libra or moon in Libra, especially moon in Libra, this will be a really significant moon for you. Those of you that are in Aries season, sun in Aries, you guys are probably able to harness this more than the rest of us. So happy birthday for Aries season. So the sun being in the astrological sign of the Ram. And for those of you that watched my new moon in Aries video, that goes through how to lead, how to set your new moon intention, how the fire of the Aries Ram is setting those goals and starting an astrological new year, and how to go forward and forge ahead. So that was that very yang and masculine, strong energy, the Ram, really getting those goals knocked out and focusing on where you can bring balance into your life. Now, the word balance is really important because Libra, the sign for Libra is the scales. What do the scales do? They're either super imbalanced or really balanced. Now, a full moon in Libra is going to be about that equilibrium. Libra is also ruled by Venus. So it's also about your relationships, the way you love, the way your heart feels. It's also about romance. It's about your connection to your loved ones, that feeling of softness in your heart. So that's a beautiful place to bring harmony and equilibrium. On the flip side of that, if you're drawing all the Aries energy in at the moment and you feel like your Libra part of you is not balanced, you might be the other side of that, which could be fighting for justice, looking for some sort of resolution. There might be court cases. There could also be contracts that need signing and things where you're fighting for the balance and the truth and what's fair. So that's the other side of what this full moon in Libra can also bring out as well, because Libra is naturally, well, there is a people pleasing and it's all about you, and it's about how do we serve and how do we give and how do we create harmony and how does everything balance out softly. And it's an emotional sign ruled by Venus, which is all about you, but the sun is all about, sun in Aries. Aries is all about me. What do I feel in this? What do I need to get done? What is my next right step? It's all the me stuff. And the Libra is all about, well, how do I serve and how do I give to you and how do I bring balance to everyone around me? So there's this kind of a little bit of as opposing signs. Aries and Libras see things through very different lenses. And so that's a strange thing. Sometimes it can be an awkward thing to try and find that reconciliation. So that's another word, reconciliation. How do you bring balance, reconciliation, or fairness? So that's definitely around this full moon in Libra. The other aspect, so when you're not going in that Aries Libra clash, basically, where there's the fire element of the Ram meeting with the air element of the scales that are moving, in that sort of finite little balancing act that goes on, is that the air feeds the fire. The air of the Libra, that breathing in, that filling up, that fuel, that lightness, that joyfulness, that breath feeds the fire of the Aries. It gives it motivation. It gives it more passion and fire and flame and those engines to combust and start moving forward in the right timing. It's funny, just a side note, I had my timing belt changed recently, right in this area between Libra Aries, so between the full moon in Libra and this new moon in Aries. So that timing is also really, really important as well. Having patience, but having that divine timing as well. But knowing that you've got to have that air stoking the fires or the flames will go out. So we've got to keep that harmony or fight for justice and make sure we keep that balance. We've also got a balance between me, and you, and sit in that balance of where do I need to serve others and where do I need to serve myself. And it brings me to something which I've been speaking about with some friends recently about Brené Brown. You know, she talks about the most compassionate people are the most boundaried people. She actually did a massive study on this, and she researched the most compassionate people in the world, the people that are the most philanthropic, and the people that are the most generous. And she discovered they all had one trait, very, very apparent. They were all very, very boundaried people. They knew where their stuff began, they knew where their stuff ended. They knew where their boundaries and their standards were for themselves, and they were unshakable on that. Therefore, they were in a safe space within themselves, and they knew how they could allocate their funds or allocate their time and energy and resources because they were so boundaried. And I felt really strongly for this video that sentence, the most compassionate people are the most boundaried people. Where can you bring some sort of equilibrium with how much you give, how much you receive, who crosses your boundaries, what are your standards, what are your lines in the sand? This full moon is really looking at that fairness of where you feel you know your lines in the sand, you know your standards of what you want and you deserve. And that's also a huge part because Libra is ruled by Venus, which represents all of our relationships. In all your relationships, how clear are you with your boundaries? Do you need to amend those boundaries? How open-hearted are you with the people that absolutely love you and it feels so easy with them and you're not feeling that you're in an unsafe space? So you'll know who the right people are to keep around you. It'll be literally illuminated this full moon. So perhaps some journal writing around the people that you have a good relationship with, that let you assert your boundaries and respect those boundaries, that they're the safest people in your life. See if they're your top 5 people that you keep close to you, because they're going to, what is that sentence? You become the average of the top of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. So have a look at that. If you become the average of the 5 people around you, how does that look for you in your life? How does that bring you harmony to your heart? And how does that give you the motivation? And how do they support your Aries part of you, your leadership part of yourself that lets you move to those bigger goals? Now, just on another note, on the 3rd of April, which I'm recording this today, 3rd of April, so just a few days before this full moon in Libra, we've got the planet of communications. Mercury has also moved into Taurus. What does that actually mean? The planet of communications moved into the sign of the bull. The bull represents Wall Street, wealth, grounded determination, earthiness, sensuality. But the Taurus is also ruled by Venus. So you've got Mercury, the planet of communications, that's moved into the sign of the bull, the earthy Taurian, ruled by Venus. We've got the moon in Libra, Libra ruled again by Venus. What does your Venus tell you in this period of life right now that we're in, from this 3rd of April to the lead up to this full moon? What do your relationships say about you? What harmony do your relationships have? Is there ease and grace? Do they feel like a safe place? Or do you need to fight for justice? Or do you need to fight for that balance? Have a look at where that balance is between the amount of fire you have, where are you in conflict, or where are you burning things, to the amount of air you have. How are you breathing things in? How are you exhaling things and releasing things out of your life? This full moon is also really powerful for releasing things that do not serve you. All full moons are a fantastic time for forgiveness and for letting go. It's also a fantastic time to shift from the past, because remember, we started a new astrological year when we go into the new moon in Aries, the very first start the sign of the zodiac. And so now we're coming to the first full moon in Aries season. So it's illuminating all those things that you need to do to create harmony. So I hope that gives you guys a good perspective on things. So whether you're feeling like the scales are a bit imbalanced and you're working for that equilibrium, whether you've got legal matters going on where you need to find that balance and that harmony for a legal outcome, or contracts, or whatever that involves signing things and getting some sort of balance legally using the justice system, or you're fighting for fairness, or whether it's finding new romance and finding that love and that softness for your relationships, your family, your friends, and those safe people in your inner circle, and enjoying and feeling a deep sense of gratitude for that, and having more fire and more motivation to lead your way in those harmonious relationships. So while we've actually got the ability to communicate, Mercury in Taurus in a very clear and defined, straightforward, grounded way, in an earthy Taurian way that's determined. And that's also to do with your inner dialogue as well. When we communicate in our inner dialogue, you know, that inner story, that inner words, the inner affirmations, that's just as powerful as what we speak. It's just as powerful as what we journal and what we write down. So have a little look at your own inner voice from a Taurian perspective. So if you were determined like the bull to speak to yourself in that gentle, soft, and loving manner, ruled by Venus, full of love, full of self-care, full of nourishment, how would you change your inner dialogue? And in what facets of your life would you change your inner dialogue to be your biggest ram, cheerleading, fire, freaking yes person in your corner, your best cheerleader? So give yourself this powerful, powerful shift. I feel it's a very rebirthing time, this full moon in Libra as well. You can rebirth a whole new balanced version of yourself that you may have thought was one day in the future I'm going to manifest, but now you have the ability to bring it in now, and faster than what you think. My name is Meera Allen, and I would love for you guys to like this video, comment, subscribe, share what you're actually focusing on, what has been illuminated for you already on this lead up. What do you think about balance and equilibrium in yourself? And what do you feel from that Venus way? And what are your fires that you are motivated towards? I hope that all these cycles give you a nice rhythm every new moon and full moon to stay on your manifesting and live with the cycles of what nature has given us with our natural satellite. Have a beautiful full moon in Libra. Namaste.